Hey everyone, this is Ruan. Welcome back to another video. In today's video, we are talking about answer engine optimization, question-related keywords, and ranking for the terms that people are looking for when it comes to questions. So in this video, click by click, I'm gonna walk you through my entire process of generating question-based contents at scale so that you can do this for your website or your client's website as well. This is going to bring you through using the OpenAI API, setting up a custom dynamic page on the Duda platform or a content management system of your choice, and then scaling all of the question-based keywords that people are searching online with their own unique web pages so you can maximize it for local traffic. So without further ado, let's get started. So to get started, I'm going to get some information about my client first so that I can prompt an OpenAI API account for them. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to head over to ChatGPT and I'm going to use Splashdash's Page Insights to gather information about my web page so that I can prompt my actual new OpenAI API to quickly know about the brand. You can see I've gone ahead and added a quick prompt for me to gather the information. I'm going to go ahead and run that. Splashdsh, I'm going to confirm, and then I'm going to be able to gather this data directly inside of my contextual AI. Keep in mind, guys, now that ChatGPT search is out, you probably could do this with the search feature that's digitally integrated, but I always like using this function because it always scans the actual website, so I know the information is always up to date. So now I'm going to copy this information, and I am going to now head over to OpenAI's API, and I'm going to head over to Assistants. When I create a new assistant, I'm going to go down here to System Instructions. And as always, I'm going to start with context, role, and task. Now that I have my context, which are customers are looking for implant information, my role, which is you're a marketing professional, and the task, which is taking the information that I got from Splashdsh below, answer questions about dental implants so that people leave the website feeling satisfied with the information that they learned. So I'm going to go ahead and save that. And now my name for my assistant, I'm going to go ahead and name Mint Dental Loft Dental Implant Questions. Down below, I'll pick my model, which will be Mini, and then I will go ahead and just have that saved. So this way, when I use the automations I'm gonna set up, I'm gonna go ahead and be able to call on this API, answering questions about dental implants as best as possible under this brand. The first step to doing this is accomplishing keyword research. So using Splashdsh, I can log in and access any of the major databases by just answering a couple of questions to generate a report. For this client that I'm going to be working with, I'm going to go ahead and get broad match terms for the question, what are dental implants? Once I'm in the platform, I'm going to be able to download these terms, select the ones that I think our client would resonate with, and use them for my automation. I can also use the tool to generate other types of keywords like what are dental veneers, what is Invisalign if I were to make other categories. But for this video, I'm sticking specific to dental implants. That might be something I can do in the future, but for now, I'm gonna stick to those terms. Okay, so once I'm in the Splashdsh dashboard, I can go ahead and scroll down to broad match keywords, and I can type in a keyword. This report, as you can see, is going to call on the SEMrush database. It's going to find keywords that are related to this phrase, and I'm going to be able to use those keyword phrases to pick and choose the content that I'm going to want written. So as you can see, there are a lot of search volume keywords. There are easy to rank for keywords. There's a lot of different phrases that we can utilize here. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and to the top right, I'm going to go ahead and click Download CSV. This way, I can look at the list and extract the keywords that I want to use for this SEO strategy. Now that I've filtered my terms, I'm ready to get into the editor and set up my automation so that I can drop in keywords and get fully built, customized web pages that are designed answering these questions. So I'm going to structure it a really unique way where there's going to be a page for each of the keywords with the keyword exactly in the URL. There's going to be text that's unique based on that API that I just made. And then there's going to be common facts or common questions related to that actual page. This should suffice the user's intent when going to that web page to find out information about this keyword. So now I have the page design that I'm going to be working with to do this AI strategy on. Now it's important to note that this page will communicate directly with this Google Sheet because for us to create dynamic content at scale, we need to use an external database, and my favorite one to use is Google Sheets. The Google Spreadsheet is a good way of doing this. You could use a solution like Airtable, or you could upload the data directly to Duda or the content management system that you're working with like Webflow to get this to automatically create and populate by itself. For simplicity reasons, we're gonna go ahead and use a Google Sheets. That way I can get this quickly done and show you exactly how this works. So as you can see, there's a slug, a title tag, a meta description, a headline, an answer, a headline, and then 5 points that the user should know about the specific question or the specific category. So if you look at the web page, we have a similar structure where we have a headline, we have an answer, we have a headline 2, and then we have 5 areas for where that content can live for us to effectively address a lot of these SEO questions. So what I'm gonna do to start is I've gotta connect this Google Sheet with Duda. To do so, I'm gonna go ahead and go to Pages. I'm gonna navigate over to my questions page, and then I'm gonna click on Convert to Dynamic Page. When I do that, I'm gonna have to create a new collection. And as I mentioned in my last video, I can use a bunch of different connections here. For my purposes, I'm gonna use Google Sheets. And now I'm gonna authenticate my Google account to utilize the Google Sheets that I just showed you. So as you can see, I've connected Mint Dental Loft question-based keywords. That's the same Google Sheet that you see here. And now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna fill in the rich text. So again, there's a couple of different things that you can implement. You can have dynamic images, you can have dynamic numbers, links. For this purpose, I'm just going to use rich text. In this rich text, I'm gonna go ahead and type in slug. Then I'm gonna type in title tag, and I'm gonna continue to fill this out until it's completely done. So as you can see, I have all of the fields that I'm gonna be using in Google Sheets directly connected here, and I'm gonna change the page item URL to actually be the slug. Now my Connect Collection database is ready to be used. Going back to the page, I can now go to this button and I can click Convert to Dynamic Page, and then it's going to allow me to basically connect it to the collection that I just made, and now I can import the different connected fields that I'm gonna need to use. To start, I'll start with the SEO settings. I'm gonna wanna make sure that my title tag is linked to my title tag in the connected data, my meta description is linked to my meta description and connected data, and my pages are set to index, so when we do publish these pages on the Google search engines, people can actually find them. Going to the page itself, I'm not going to change this tag. I want that to remain pretty consistent throughout all of the pages that I'm going to make, but I am going to connect the first headline and the content here to the different tags. So headline 1, I'll connect it here. Headline 2, I'll connect it here. Then I'll connect the 5 bullet points. Now I pretty much have everything connected on this page. So when I add a row of content to this Google Sheet, that will be dynamically updated directly on that web URL. Keep in mind, you can do this with all of the different categories of this business. So if I wanted to do this with teeth whitening, if I wanted to do this with cosmetic dentistry, I want to do this with localized keywords, I can do this process with all of them. This process will require for me to use Zapier, which is going to allow OpenAI and Duda to talk to each other. And the reason for this is because I could build this myself, but it's easier if I just use this automation for all of our major categories anytime we take on a client. Okay, so I'm in a fresh Zapier account for the client that we're working on. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna create a new Zap, and my first step is going to be to title it. Then I'm gonna start my trigger. My trigger is going to be a Google Sheets trigger, with the trigger event being a new spreadsheet row. I'm going to select the account where that spreadsheet is available, and then I'm going to choose the spreadsheet based on that information. The worksheet I'm going to choose is keyword. We're going to put in keywords that we filtered into column A, and that's going to generate all of the contents for this row, which is then going to generate a unique web page in Duda. Let's go ahead and pick keyword. I'll continue. I'm going to test this, and then the test should return a keyword that I put in, which I think was what are dental implants. So you can see it's tested it successfully. So now I can continue with that selected record. My next thing is going to be ChatGPT. And this time what I'm going to do is I'm going to have a conversation with Assistant. I'm going to pick the assistant, which is going to be the one I just created called Mint Dental Loft Dental Implant Questions. And then I'm always going to use Model 4.0 Mini. Now I mentioned ChatGPT 4.0 Mini a lot. And the reason for that is because the token amount is a lot cheaper and you still get the power of ChatGPT 4's level of information. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to prompt ChatGPT to, based on the keyword that I put in, to write a page-friendly SEO slug that includes only the keyword as a question and only these parameters. And please provide the slug in your result and no other explanations. I don't want it to overdo it. So I'm going to go ahead and test this step. and then we're gonna see what ChatGPT returns us, and hopefully it's a URL friendly slug that we can utilize. So you can see here that the data out for this result is what are dental implants. That's going to be really important because in a later step, this is going to have to attach to a URL. So that's really great. So now what we're going to do is we're going to do another step. This time it's going to be ChatGPT again, and we're going to go ahead and have it write a title tag. So the next step is the title tag. So as you can see, I've titled my next action as title tag. I'm going to pick the event, which is going to be conversation with assistant. Same process as we were doing before. Now in my prompt, I'm gonna say, based on the keyword that I've selected, write a title tag that aims for a short, clear title that describes this page's contents in 55 characters or less. I'm also going to prompt it to personalize the title tag and all of the optimizations for their immediate service area. And you can see I put that in there to make sure they mention Pasadena and Altadena in their title tag. And as I go to test this step, ChatGPT is going to talk to the AI assistant from the OpenAI API, and now it's going to write me a unique title tag based on the keyword that I put into that spreadsheet row. As you can see, the title tag that the page is going to use is what are dental implants in Pasadena and Altadena. So it's utilizing the question, but it's also utilizing the location of the business itself. Now, when we're going for the SEO approach here, I really like to stress the locality of the business. So you're going to see that a lot of my prompting is actually going to be focused on hyper localizing the content, because it doesn't really make sense for me to rank nationally for a lot of these terms. It's better for our clients if we rank them locally. Okay, so I spent some time building it out exactly how we're going to need it in the spreadsheet, but I quickly wanted to show you what I did here. So inside of the answer, I prompted it to give us back the response answering the question. I prompted it to not give me back too much information. Sometimes AI will do that. AI is not perfect. You should always check the information that it's exporting, and you should quality edit it or make it sound less redundant. And then the first point, response was that dental implants can last a lifetime. And I went ahead and did that with each and every single one of these different actions to fill in that field of the quick facts. One important thing that you can do to get creative too is, because I didn't want it to repeat the same facts over and over again, I basically inside of the message field put to provide a fact only using one sentence, make it unique, and to not repeat what it has said before. That's the beauty of AI automation and using AI tools to automate these kinds of things, because it's going to allow you to get really creative as we start to scale. So with that being said, the last step here is going to be to actually go to Google Sheets. And then in Google Sheets, I'm going to head and create a spreadsheet row. And that's going to allow me to post this information directly into the spreadsheet when I add a keyword into that field. So I'm going to pick the drive in the spreadsheet, and my worksheet this time will be implants. It won't be the actual question. Then the slug, I will go ahead and start mapping the fields. And then towards the end, I can put in the final URL and then add the actual slug so I get a fully optimized URL. So you can see it's going to read mintdentalloft.com/common questions/what are dental implants, so that I get a fully functional URL. So at this point, I just wanted to recap all of this information, all of my AI prompts. They're going to talk to my Google Drive. They're going to talk to this spreadsheet. They're going to import them into this workbook. It's going to add a slug. It's going to add a title tag. It's going to add a meta description. It's going to give me a headline. It's going to give me an answer. And then it's going to give me the 5 different things people should know about implants, the prefix URL, meaning the category URL at which it lives, and then a final URL. So now I'm going to go ahead and test this step. If successful, a new row is going to be added directly into the spreadsheet. And as that row is added, I am now going to be able to create dynamic pages based on what people are searching for instantly that are customized to my client thanks to AI. So let's go back to the sheet. As you can see, it looks like it did create a row, and that row contains all of this information. And so obviously you can see that this information has been inputted pretty promptly. I can expand this to see exactly what the text says, but this text I've already looked at in the actual Zapier integration, so I can know that a lot of it is factual and accurate. But of course, if I had a content team, or if I was working on this text, or if I sent this to the client for them to review this information, I could do so. But I really quickly just want you to look at the scale of this once we're complete. So we have all of the fields put in, and then you can see that the slug is going to be what are dental implants. And then the final URL when the site is published with the new information will be mintdentalloft.com/common question/what are dental implants. So if I go back into the Duda editor, you can see that I can actually now select one of the page drop downs here. And so in about a minute or so, when I refresh this data, I should see that page pop up directly inside of the editor, and you'll be able to see that real shortly. Remember guys, AI can be inaccurate, so it's always really important to check your work. Once it's in the spreadsheet and once the content is there, it's always great to have a human go through it and optimize it to make sure it's exactly what the client does or what the client wants. So guys, there we have it. This is the page design with all of the unique AI text formatted to fit the page design based on our AI automation that we set up with the tools I just showed you. Recap, here's all of the content uniquely written for this page, put neatly into this page design. You can see that this is gonna look really good on the mobile phone too, because it's all optimized across the different devices. So this is really great to share on social media, etc. if that's part of your strategy. Heading over to Splashdsh, I'm gonna grab another keyword. This time I'll grab what are all-in-4 dental implants. I will go ahead and put that cell inside of here. That is going to trigger our automation based on the Zapier thing that we set up a little bit before. And now it's gonna create another unique URL directly on the website targeting what are all-in-4 dental implants. Now in the meantime, what I'd like to do is I'd like to show you how this is actually going to display in the real Google search results. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to publish the website. And then once the site's published, the contents of this actual row will be alive and active on the interwebs. So now that that's published, I should hypothetically be able to click on this link. So now you'll see this link is live directly on the search results. And what I can do is I can show you a couple of things, right? The text is working. It looks all unique. And if I check the page source, I check the title tag, you can see that the title tag is written as is, and then the meta description is written customized to that page as well. So after I put in that keyword phrase, it could take a little while for the AI to do its thing as it's processing that data in Zapier, and then it's going in and writing the content for each of these different levels of rows so that I can optimize that. So once that's completed, I'll come back to the computer and show you how to scale this thing. One thing I did want to note too is this strategy is completely useless if you don't have any domain authority. Domain authority is the scale of 0 to 100 of how likely you are to rank for a keyword. In Splashdsh, you can run this data using Moz's data really quickly and efficiently to see how you stack up against yourself or the competitor. Let me show you what our domain authority is, and that way that'll determine how likely you are to rank for a keyword. In Splashdsh, I can pull a report that uses AI to generate text and metrics from various integrations all in one place. So I can quickly see that the domain authority of Mint Dental Loft is relatively considered low when it comes to all of the websites in the industry, but when you do it towards dental and compare it to their competition, it's actually quite high. And you can see that because they have 527 reviews and a lot of the keywords that people are mentioning directly on their webpage, I think that there's a high likelihood that a lot of these frequently asked questions will rank in their given area. So jumping back into the spreadsheet, you can see that that row has now been added. And if I open this up, you can start to see all of the different contents that are created for that question specifically. And at the end, I have a customized URL. So going back into the actual editor, if I refresh this, because a new row has been generated, I can pretty much guarantee that there's going to be a new web page that's added into the collection in just a minute. And as you can see, the content is going to be different. It's going to say what are all-in-4 dental implants. It's going to talk about the solution. Then it's going to talk about all of the different reasons that somebody should use implants or quick facts about all-in-4 dental implants. So there you have it. That's how you create frequently asked questions content at scale by just putting in keywords from an SEO tool, whether it be Splashdsh, SEMrush, Ahrefs, etc., to generate more localized traffic to the website itself, or by optimizing for zero-click search results. I hope you guys have enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in the next one.